We've been waiting for this over a year. The Fed this week lowered the rates by 25 basis points and let the market start melting up toward the end of the year. We got Nvidia this week to invest $5 billion into Intel, which sent Intel stock up 30%, the best day ever. We got our new iPhones. Did you get your new iPhone? I did. I didn't even open the box yet because who has time to set it up? But yes, the orange iPhone is in my hands. Apple iPhone 17 Pro Max, whatever the name is. And according to sources, Apple has requested their suppliers to increase the deliveries because they have so much demand. We had by Friday, Oracle and Meta in talks to invest $20 billion into Oracle. Actually, Meta is going to invest $20 billion to buy more and more hardware and software. These numbers are crazy. And we had Meta this week, which introduced their new augmented reality glasses. Will our future be through glasses? So hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, hi, my name is Micha, and on this channel, we have two items a week. We have this weekly summary, and on Wednesday, get used to it, Wednesday, 3:44 p.m., we're doing a midweek summary. It's a live stream, so you're able to ask questions. You're able to get your stock analyzed. Everything is happening on our channel, Stock Talk with Micha Stocks. We have over 9,000 subscribers, so if you're interested, not only in recorded videos like this, but also in live streams, you're more than welcome. And of course, you can watch the live streams afterwards. You don't need to see it in live, but there's the excitement of being live. So subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on. All these things pushed the NASDAQ up for the week, 2.22%, Russell up 1.95%, the S&P up 1.22%, and the Dow Jones up 1.5%. I think the most interesting part is the RSP, which shows us that the participation is expanding and the breadth is also expanding. More and more companies are reaching all-time highs. Not only the Magnificent Seven, not only tech, we have financials, we have industrials, we have more and more, and that's great. We had Magnificent Seven, then we expanded it to the Great Eight. Now we're at 9 different companies, which is an opening lineup of a soccer team, where we have Tesla, Google, Oracle, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, and Broadcom. Most green for the week, with Tesla up 7%. We're going to talk about that later, of course. And Nvidia and Broadcom, only one that were down for the week, but Broadcom with an amazing run at all-time high. So minus 4% week is nothing, and Nvidia practically unch for the week. We have crypto market that is kind of telling everyone, okay, put your money in stocks before I do my amazing Q4. So get ready for a huge move on the crypto. Currently, the week ended, I want to say around zero, probably. That would be the best kind of definition. Silver all-time high. Gold all-time high, up this week. Silver up 2% for the weekend. Gold up 1%. Crude oil up 0.3%, and natural gas down 1% for the week. This, of course, brings us directly to the news of the week. And we will start with the strongest person in the world. Donald Trump had a call on Friday with President Xi, Chinese president. They're progressing, mainly talked about TikTok. They talked about fentanyl. They talked about the trade deals. Nothing that I know of has been signed yet, but at least there's talks between them, which automatically reduces the tension between both parties. We had Secretary Chair Atkins moving or trying to move ahead with earnings that will be reported only every 6 months, every half a year, and not every quarter. This change is going to be dramatic change. We talked about it during our live stream. So go back to the live stream. Of course, you're more than invited to participate in the next live stream, which would happen Wednesday, 3:44 p.m. I'm talking Eastern, by the way. Trump tweets from the White House official Twitter account. S&P rallies to highs. A day later, he tweets this: I bought Intel at 20. Now Intel is 30, with charts and everything. There's a saying in Wall Street that says, don't fight the Fed. I want to update it. Don't fight the president. If you have a president that tweets stock charts and price, you don't need me to tell you that that is his focus. And we have 3.5 more years of that. Let's make money, right? GDP, American GDP is at 3.4%. Previously was 3.1. Strong economy. Reducing rates into a strong economy is something that will even increase the melt up. And why? Because the AAII for 7 consecutive weeks have been negative, have been bearish. 7 consecutive weeks, and we are almost at 30 times all-time high this year, NASDAQ and S&P. The divergence here is crazy, and that is the reason why I'm not even sure we're at the top yet. Because if you have so many bearish people, how can you be at top? When everyone would be bullish, then you might say, okay, everyone is talking about stocks. So keep that in the back of your mind when someone tells you, oh, the market is expensive and it's probably going to correct. By the way, it might correct, but remember that. On Friday, a dramatic new executive order saying that H-1B visa holders and new requests will be required to pay $100,000 a year for the visa. Of course, this is something that will reduce in a dramatic way the number of, usually it's computer science and programmers that will come from both India and China and other countries, but they're the main portion. This will impact technology companies as well. I don't know yet the impact. We will see it during the week. Google with a lot of news this week, from a new partnership with PayPal through new capabilities in Chrome that will include Gemini capabilities inside the browser. Talks with Reddit to incorporate Reddit data into training Gemini. Waymo, which is a Google company, combine forces or partners with Lyft in order to provide autonomous mobility in Nashville, and now testing Waymo cars in SFO. Dramatic week for the autonomous driving vehicles. Yes, Waymo is leading the path, leading the way, and this, of course, will help Tesla in the future once they have their autonomous in more and more states. On the GLP-1 front, Eli Lilly with pills that can achieve weight loss of 11.2%. Novo Nordisk with pills that can achieve 16.6%. Now, I don't know if it's on the same weight scale, if it's the same kind of participants, but it doesn't matter. 2026 is going to be the year that people will not inject GLP-1 drugs anymore, but actually just take pills. Palantir with over $1 billion in order coming from UK. You see here one of them, but it crossed the $1 billion, with Palantir being basically the operating system of AI for companies as it seems right now. And there are, at least Dan Ives thinks that they might achieve $1 trillion in the next few years. China, whether it's part of the negotiation with Trump, but whether they believe it, are telling all their companies, do not buy NVIDIA chips anymore. We talked about NVIDIA earlier, of course, with the investment to Intel. And the U.S. Energy Secretary identifies that AI, but we need energy. So he says, let's look into boosting national strategic uranium stockpile. That sent the SMR stocks, SMR is small modular reactor stocks like Oklo, NNE, SMR, to the stratosphere this week with double-digit gains. Same thing happens in the UK and and the US as well around quantum computing. Everyone is looking into quantum computing. That, of course, sent quantum computing to space as well. Yes, it was a crazy week for these smaller stocks that you can generate very high beta through them. And last but not least, don't tell Elon Musk that I put him last. But I just want to make sure you stay on this video till the end. And this is not the end, by the way. Elon Musk, for the first time in 5 years, since 2020, he did not purchase shares. On Friday last week, he did it. He purchased 2.57 million shares, which is over $1 billion in Tesla stock. Automatically, he gained 7% because that's what it did this week. And why is it interesting? It was the last day he can purchase. Does he know what's going to happen in Q3? Does he know what's going to happen with autonomous? Does he know what's going to happen with humanoid robots? Why is he buying now? A lot of questions, not a lot of answers, because he can't say anything. He's in blackout, period. Next week's earnings look like this. Tuesday, Micron. Wednesday, KB Home. Thursday, Costco. Basically, that's it. We're at the end of earnings. In 2 weeks, we're going to get the banks again. So we're pretty close to that. Major event this week, or basically the only macro event, is PCE on Thursday. So that's the only one that's really dramatic. And why is it dramatic? Because it will create the path for the Fed to keep lowering rates. By how much? If you go to CME Fed Watch Tool, the next Fed meeting, 29th of October, 91% says a 25 basis point reduction. But remember, we're over a month till October. It can go down even more. We will wait. As we know, these things update themselves automatic. And of course, this brings us to the S&P 500, represented by the Japanese candlesticks. So, as we have seen, the market currently is dominated by the bulls. How do we know that? Because it's going from bottom left to top right, which means that we're in an upward trend. We have this trend line, which holds all the supports. As you can see, the wicks here, and the wicks here. So we are above the trend line. We are a bit stretched from the trend line, which means that we might see some kind of correction to around 6,500. This would be pretty okay. I don't think there's true drama here. If we keep going above this trend line, we're on an upward trend. There's nothing to fight the trend. And with AAII so bearish, or at least 7 weeks bearish, when we're at all-time high, we're not at the top anymore. You see here, this is where the live stream is, the live stream from Wednesday. Click it if you haven't seen it, so you'll be able to see how we analyze stocks, how we talk about news, everything. Till next time, my name is Micha Stocks, and remember, nothing here was financial advice. Everything is only for your education and entertainment purpose only. Bye-bye.